It's the final match of the National Football Tournament selection, and the team that wins the game will advance to the tournament and further their dreams of becoming professional. On the battlefield where 22 bloodthirsty men fight for glory, Isagi dribbles his way to the goal, leaving every defender in the dust. With a few minutes left on the clock, they're losing 1-0 and he must tie the score to have a chance at the Nationals. There is nothing but Nationals playing on repeat inside his head. Isagi is one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but he glances at his wing and finds an open player. He knows that their chances for scoring will be much higher with the assistants, as football is one for all and all for one. However, his dreams are shattered when the NPC striker hits the post. The ball then bounces to an opposing player who sends a long pass to the striker Kira. The boy receives the ball and shoots it into the net, securing a 2-goal lead for his team and more importantly winning the game. Kira, the jewel of Japan, is set while losers are forced to listen to a consolation speech from their loser coach with rainbow issues. Isagi knows that winners don't make excuses for their loss. Isagi is heartbroken. He can't think straight anymore. Another year wasted as an average player on a mediocre team, and he didn't even qualify for the Nationals. Still, he wonders about the outcome if he was ballsy enough to take the shot. Frustrated to lose his dream, he heads back home. He yells in sorrow with tears flowing down like a river. Upon returning home, his mother tells him that she cooked a special dish for good luck, but he ruins the mood by informing her of their humiliating loss. At the dinner table, his mother reveals that there is a letter for Isagi from the National Football Union offering to participate in an experimental training regimen. The very next day, Isagi decided to go. There he encounters Kira at the front door, who was also called to the same location. He is shocked to hear that Kira values his skills and selflessness on the field. They enter the facility only to find familiar faces who rank amongst the best in school football. Looking around, Kira spots numerous exceptional center forwards, including Okawa, a star player, and Ishikari, the tallest high school striker. In fact, the entire place is packed solely with strikers. Suddenly, a peculiar man steps onto the stage before them, introducing himself as Jinpachi Ego. The egghead aims to take the 300 best high school strikers in Japan and put them through an experimental training regimen to create the perfect striker from among them to secure a World Cup for Japan. Ego explains that this location, where they have all been gathered, is the Blue Lock facility. Over the next few months, all 300 of them will compete against each other, and one among them will emerge as the striker destined to lead Japan to glory. Some of the guys object to leaving their nationals for this bullshit, but Ego reminds them that the best striker Noah said scoring a hat trick and losing is better than winning 1-0. He emphasizes that the best players in football like Peel and Eric Cantona are selfish, while their international team is outright shit. He mentioned that their egos are what make them the best in the world. He worries that the future of Japanese football wants to excel in high school rather than become the best in the world. Isagi is frustrated with his life as an average player, unable to stand out. He lacked the ego to take the crucial shot in the game earlier, which cost him a spot in the Nationals. Upon hearing Ego's words, he feels thirsty of power, and he is the first to rush to the Blue Lock facility to ensure his dreams come true. Shortly after, nearly all the players join him. The player reaches Blue Lock where Isagi finds himself with Kira, Kunigami, the bodybuilder, and the sleeping goat Bachira. Ego evaluated each of their abilities and assigned a number on their outfits, with Isagi being the second worst, the 299 out of 300. Once the players have finished changing their outfits, a huge screen lights up and Ego appears. He states these numbers can increase according to a player's performance in Blue Lock, and the top 5 will be registered as Japan's strikers. However, the person to get eliminated of Blue Lock will never have the rights to represent Japan national team in their life. On that note, he gives them a ball to play game of tag, and the last person holding the ball at the end of that time will be eliminated from the room. The game starts. NPC number 300 Igarashi tries to tag the player closest to his ranking Isagi, But he fails multiple times, lacking the skills to tag anyone until he notices a sleeping player, Bachira. The disgusting waste of space tries to play dirty by picking an easy target. But Bachira kicks him in the face since there aren't any fouls. Then, another player, Kunigami, advises him to play a clean game, giving number 300 an opening to strike. Furious, he hits the ball with full power. However, number 300 uses Isagi as bait. With 1 minute remaining, he chases the others around. He finds it extremely difficult to tag anyone else, and his chances of a career are slipping away. The last NPC strains his ankle in the middle of the game, giving him an easy win. But with 25 seconds remaining on the clock, he realizes that to be the best, he must beat the best. Unexpectedly, he turns around and Bachira shares the same feelings and takes the ball from him to defeat Kira. Bachira's offensive style puts him on the defense. However, Bachira gives a long pass to Isagi. Before it can hit the ground, his focus reaches the epitome, and thus Isagi slams the ball in Kira's face. Ego announces Kira's soccer career is locked off. He questions his methods to test them, calling them immature, to which Ego tells how he fails to spin his head and notices that their room has identical dimensions to a penalty zone. This is where the striker must demonstrate focus, spatial awareness, and precision, making it an excellent soccer training drill. Kira claims that Ego can't assess his talents within 2 minutes when the match is 90. But Ego reminds them that each player on the field gets an average of 136 seconds with the ball. Isagi and Bachira prove themselves to be self-serving by going after the best, exactly what he's looking for in Blue Lock. The Psycho continues to make happy noises and give off Hitler vibes. Nonetheless, his journey in Blue Lock and his career is over for good. Despite ending his friend's career, Isagi is overwhelmed with excitement. Bachira tells him that his eyes were that of a real striker, which made him pass the ball. As the entry test ends, Ego assigns a letter to each team, with Isagi's team known as Z. Meanwhile, Henri, the curvy football-loving babe, tells the board that their team won't win the World Cup. However, the money-sucking rodents treat soccer as a business, so they hope Blue Lock won't be a waste of liquor money. She assures them that Jinpachi Ego is the man who will break down their talent and forge a striker that will lead them to victory. Back at the Blue Lock facility, training finally begins, and Isagi is already feeling overwhelmed. All his teammates surpass him in nearly every aspect of the game. Compared to the others, his skills are just so average. After rigorous training on their first day, Team Z goes to bed. However, Isagi jolts awake from his nightmare, realizing there isn't any time to waste. He goes outside to train only to encounter Bachira with the ball. On the training grounds, Isagi asks about Bachira's abrupt decision to pass the ball. Bachira, he claims that there is a monster inside him that communicates on the ground. Like all the famous players in the world, Messi, Ronaldo, he too has a monster inside him that guides him during the game. The monster always told him to keep moving forward until Isagi came along. It told Bachira that there was a monster inside Isagi too. Despite not getting one word of his crap, Isagi feels ablaze. His eyes and movements changed, allowing them to train neck to neck. Suddenly, the team is called to their room for their fitness test results. Upon returning, Isagi's ranking gets a huge bump from 299 to 274, while the NPC goes to 275. One of the team members asks Ego to give them better accommodation. This forces him to reveal the Blue Lock structure of operations. In total, there are 25 teams, so the lowest ranking team can't demand anything since their skills are shit, while the top dogs in the facility live like the Tate brothers. On the other hand, a reporter asks a talented midfielder named Itoshi from Japan who plays in the European League about representing Japan. He smokes Japan's team, calling them amateurs with a bunch of money. He'd rather die than be found playing with them. On that note, he leaves the room and comes across Blue Lock's press conference. Simultaneously, Ego tells them that Blue Lock is made of 5 buildings with 5 teams in each one. Only the top 2 teams from each building will qualify for the second selection. They are confused about how they can play as a team since all of them are strikers. They can't believe they will play a match with an entire team of forwards. However, Ego reminds us that originally everyone in soccer was a striker. He and Henry believe this is their only chance to reach the top. After hearing this, Sai tells his manager to cancel the flight to Japan, as he wants to see this top-class striker. Team Z decides to play rock, paper, scissors to determine who gets to play as forward. Isagi wins the first round and picks himself as the center forward. Afterward, Ego tells their first game is against Team X, and the first selection will be amongst the 5 teams in their building. Top scorers from each time will also be allowed to advance to the second selection. 2 hours later, Team Z and Team X come face to face. Isagi kicks off the match with Bachira, but before they can move, Reishi steals the ball from him. Kunigami joins the fun. Just as Ego had planned, all the players from Team Z are competing against each other to be the top scorer. They have no interest in winning as a team and are solely focused on scoring their own goals. The other team takes advantage of their bickering to play the underdog. Surprisingly, their team members also want to prioritize their goals rather than acting as a team, leaving Isagi overwhelmed. Soon, a monster named Barou breaks through the mob and rushes towards the goal. Using a simple heel flick, he gets past Isagi. He also effortlessly dribbles through Team Z's defenders, thus scoring the first goal. He confidently claims himself to be the king of the field. With each kickoff, Isagi notices that Team X is starting to get their shit together. They are leaning on Barou after that first goal, while their members are constantly fighting themselves. On their 6th kickoff, Bachira claims that they can score 1 goal by working together. He tells him to run inside for a long pass. The monsters inside them awaken as Bachira perfectly passes the ball. Isagi rushes forward, confident that defeating the goalkeeper will be simple. However, his plans are fudged when Barou defends the goal. Kunigami and Reishi ask him to pass the ball, but his feelings as a striker conflict with him inside. Suddenly, Isagi's spatial awareness goes to another level, telling him to pass the ball to Kunigami. Team X thinks no one can score from that distance, but he takes the shot and scores, leaving everyone shocked. However, the team isn't happy since individuals with the most goals can advance to selection 2. Reishi grabs Isagi's collars to ask why he didn't pass his side, which was more open. Unexpectedly, Isagi doesn't even know why he passed in the first place. He claims it to be an accident. Quan breaks the fight between them before things get bloody. Soon, Barou walks up to Isagi, claiming a striker who hesitated in front of the goal has 0 talent. In the dressing room, the fight among comrades continues with everyone trying to be the center forward. Frustrated, Quan yells at them to shut their bum holes. He reminds them that losing 2 matches will ensure their elimination. They need to get their shit together and work out a plan. Chigiri also noticed that Ego wants Japan to win the World Cup, but none of the names he speaks off like Messi and Ronaldo have won. Isagi claims to have found the answer to his riddles. He thinks that Ego wants them to change the 0 into 1. Barou accomplished this by using his talent as an anchor for the team. At that moment, Ego comes on screen and tells them they are in the right direction. However, they abandon their sense of roles, as soccer is a game where offense and defense must switch rapidly. They need to use their weapons to revolutionize soccer on the field. He also announces the results of the other games, where Team V obliterated Team Y with an 8-0 victory. This means Team Z needs to pick up their pace quickly. Following Ego's word, everyone goes around the room. They discuss their special abilities to find ways to enhance their teamwork and improve their overall gameplay. Reishi with the best shooting skills, Kunigami with the best left-footed mid-range shot, Yudai with great speed and technique, and Bachira being an excellent dribbler. Quan records the date in his diary for their next match. Eventually, Isagi is put on the spot to talk about his expertise. Naturally, he doesn't know about his weapon, as his confidence as a striker is at its lowest. Amongst them, Chigiri refuses to share his abilities even if it means losing the next match. Despite collecting the data, they don't know how to maximize their results. They use the next few days to train for their match with Team Y. Before crashing, Isagi goes to the cafeteria for his brokey meal. Kunigami follows him there to show his appreciation for the past. He pities the guy eating dog food and decides to share his steak. He reveals that Blue Lock offers goal points that can be exchanged for prizes like steaks, phones, and beds. During their conversation, Isagi realizes that his weapon is to make split-second decisions that can lead the team to victory. On the day of the match, Quan reminds his team that Team Y lost their match to Team V, making them desperate. He tells them to look out for Hibiki, a top scorer in his team, before entering Blue Lock. When the match starts, Team Z utilizes Quan's strategy to highlight individual talents. Every player switches position every 10 minutes. The rest of the team will support the player's style. However, Isagi noticed that Team Y is very focused on defense. They block Bachira's dribbling with a 3-man surprise attack, forcing him to pass. Not only that, their defenders manage to block Kunigami's powerful shot, leaving them puzzled. For most of the first half, Team Z continues on the offense with their lame strategy. Isagi finds it odd that their top scorer would stand still. In the meantime, Kunigami shoots at the goal, but the defenders block. Team Y's midfield Nico passes the ball to Hibiki to launch an unstoppable counterattack. He defeats Team Z's goalkeeper with a light chip shot, drawing first blood. Soon, the referee sounds his whistle, thus ending the first half. Reishi and Yudai feel as if their 10 minutes were wasted. Chigiri advises them to change their tactics, but Quan claims that it will create more confusion. Most of the team agrees with him. However, Chigiri, Kunigami, Bachira, and Isagi know things need to change. The second half begins with Yudai on the ball, which turns out to be a waste. Luckily, Jin steals the ball from them and asks Quan to signal his ideal formation. He passes the ball to Isagi for a long pass inside the death zone. Unexpectedly, he kicks the ball too hard. But still, Jin's superior agility allows him to connect the shot. Unfortunately, the goalkeeper pulls out an amazing save, resulting in the corner. As everyone gets into position, Isagi sees a hint of the monster from someone on the field. He thinks that losing the ball would result in their loss. Yudai takes the corner, but Reishi misses the header. Everyone thinks that Team Z's possession is up in smoke, but Isagi comes up with a save by blocking Nico's path. He realizes that he's the one controlling Team Y from the shadows. Isagi goes for the shot, which is blocked again. Luckily, Jin reaches the ball in the nick of time to score. Nico concludes that Isagi has the same eyes as him. However, he claims that this field will operate on his command. Naruhaya utilizes his weapon to sneak up behind the defenders, but Isagi's bad pass make them lose the ball. Team Y intends to pass the ball to Nico, but Isagi isn't having it. He declares that all the passes to him will be blocked, ending their reign on the field. Their chit-chat about weapons made Nico realize that everyone in Blue Lock has their own weapon. Nico claims that Isagi can stop their counterattack. However, he can't stop his idea. He knows that his physical abilities aren't the best, but his tactics have no rival. With 1 minute on the clock remaining, Nico throws defending out of the window and allows Hibiki to launch a full attack. Isagi realizes that this game will mean the end of their careers, but his determination to play soccer awakens the mysterious monster inside him. Inside their penalty zone, the goalkeeper feels the pressure of their careers on his shoulders. His eyes get fixated on the ball with undying determination to save the goal. At the last moment, Nico passes the ball to Hibiki, ensuring their end. Shockingly, Isagi comes out of nowhere to intercept, leaving everyone speechless. He deals a long pass to Kunigami, trusting him to end things. However, multiple defenders press him, forcing him to pass the ball to Bachira. He dribbles the ball through defenders, but the monster inside whispers into his ear, telling him to pass the ball. Jin and everyone else think that the ball is meant for him. However, Bachira diverts their attention towards Isagi. His unwavering focus allows him to make a volley that could be considered one of the best goals in history, leaving everyone in awe. Everyone cheers him on, but Isagi focuses on Team Y's faces to understand the glorious feeling of crushing their dreams. Team Z spends the entire evening celebrating their victory with the bonus food from their Bachira and Isagi's goals. As everyone crashes for the night, Isagi steps up only to find Chigiri watching his goal from today on repeat. Chigiri talks about Isagi's spatial awareness being a unique skill. He believes that Isagi can view soccer like a god watching from above. He wants him to learn to master this skill and use it at will. During their conversation, Isagi learns that Chigiri possesses a unique personality like him. However, an injury to his leg made him fear playing soccer. The doctors said another injury on the leg will end his career. He joined Blue Lock to find a reason to let his dream end. However, Isagi thinks that he needs to sacrifice everything to fulfill his dream, pissing him off. During practice, Isagi misses a basic practice shot, giving Reishi a chance to call his goal a fluke. He sits down on the sidelines, self-doubting his physical limits and that goal. In the middle of their session, Ego comes on screen, revealing 3 teams are tied with 3 points while V has a lead on them. Kwon realizes they must win their match against Team W, otherwise their dreams end. Ego tells them they need to polish their weapons in their ways, thus copying Messi or Ronaldo is out of the question. Before leaving, he updates the ranking with Isagi on top. Kwon tells them to pack up and rest for the next match. Before the match, the goalkeeper Lemon briefs them on Team W's ace duo, the Wanama brothers. This name seems familiar to Chigiri but decides to stay silent. The goalkeeper tells them that Team W is famous for the brothers' combination attack. These two are exceptionally strong and possess great coordination skills. All they needed to do was stop the link-up between the brothers, and they could win the game. In that moment, Kwon joins the meeting with a reddish face. He takes a sip of water and informs them about their new 3-man combination strategy. On the field, Isagi's team is placed at the back on defense. The Wanama brothers kick off the match and quickly dribble through the field. They start making make-pass after pass with each other. Before he knows it, Isagi and Chigiri find themselves facing the brothers. They are shocked to see their former genius teammate on Team Z, trying to play soccer with a glass leg. As they get past them, Chigiri intends on increasing his speed, but the brothers remind him of his injury. The 2 brothers manage to manipulate him. Isagi loses his cool and tackles him brutally. He reminds Chigiri that Team Z is where they belong. He passes the ball to Kwon, who scores a goal with a header. Kwon continues being on fire and manages to score a hat trick, raising Ego's suspicion. After the hat trick, his performance goes downhill. Kwon makes multiple mistakes with dribbling and passing, leading Team W to recover. Reishi grabs his collar to punch the shit out of him. However, Kunigami manages to stop him, resulting in only a yellow card. Kwon immediately bows down and apologizes for his mistakes. Strangely, Isagi sees him smiling, but calls it his imagination until Team W breaks down his new formation with Kunigami and Bachira perfectly. His suspicions are confirmed when Kwon misses a header on purpose. Isagi confronts him in front of Team Z and learns that he's working with Team W. Instead of denying it, Kwon accepts the accusation, saying they are a bunch of idiots who were eager to play. He believes their team can't win the tournament, thus making it a 12-on-10 match. He passes the ball to the brother, allowing them to take the lead from them. Frustrated, Isagi asks his reasons for betraying them when he clearly said they sucked. He reminds him that the top scorer from each team will qualify for the second selection. And so, the Wanama brothers let him score 3 goals in exchange for their victory. Isagi's frustration is more than anyone on the team. His determination to become the best striker makes him continue. However, the Wanama brothers also know about his spatial awareness, making it impossible for him to escape. In addition, Kwon helps steal the ball from him to give Wanama a brother another attack. The ball goes past Chigiri, but his act is still a mess. Team Z's goalkeeper saves the goal with his fingertips. He tells them to get possession of the ball and tie the game. Chigiri is frustrated because there's just 5 minutes left in the game, which makes him feel useless for his teammates, but Reishi tell him to get his act together, reminding him of the past. When on his first day, Chigiri defeated the Ace brother with unimaginable speed and thus became a child prodigy. He thought his legs would make him the best striker in the world, until the muscles in his leg tears from the strain. The doctor told him that an injury again would end his career. From that day onward, Chigiri was mocked for being the not-so-genius. He trained in physical therapy to regain the normal function of his leg. However, playing soccer at that level was still not possible. He feared abandoning his dream of becoming the best striker, subconsciously chaining his leg. With 5 minutes remaining on the clock, Chigiri's wish to put soccer behind him. Suddenly, he hears Isagi's pissed-off voice telling him to run. Isagi looks at his wingers and realizes his team is fudged. However, losing is not an option. In that moment, he loses his calm and goes berserk. But a defender tackles him and steals the ball due to his whack dribbling skills. Despite this, Isagi continues running after the ball, leaving the Wanama brothers and Chigiri questioning his motivation. While chasing, he runs towards Chigiri and throws him to the ground, telling him to wake up. At first, Chigiri wanted to give up on soccer to be at peace, but now something inside him is shifted. Isagi's undying determination rubbed off on him, forcing him to break the chains and let loose. Isagi gains possession of the ball near the line, realizing it's their final chance. Things suddenly change as he starts smelling a goal. He sees Chigiri rushing upfield and makes a long through pass. Kwon goes to take the ball, but Chigiri's speed beats him by a mile. Unexpectedly, he shoots the ball midfield and then chases it. Before the goalkeeper can divert it, Chigiri reaches for the ball and kicks it. He promises to play soccer until the fire in his body and his legs give out. After the match, Team Z finds Kwon trying to fix their next match with Team V. He talks with Tsurugi, Ryo, and Nagi, but none agree to his plot. Instead, they pity him for being weak enough to go match fixing. As they leave, Nagi asks Ryo if soccer would be interesting on the losing side. Suddenly, Isagi enters the room with his team and tells Nagi to take back his insult to the sport, creating tension in the room. Afterward, Lemon informs them that Team W and Team Y's match ended up in a tie with Nico's accurate striking. The new leaderboard makes it necessary for Team Z to win against Team V. The keeper shares crucial information about Team V's top 3 scorers. They are called the Deadly Trio. Amongst them, Nagi has 7 goals while Ryo with 6 and Tsurugi has 5. They need to stop them to win the match. On the other hand, Tsurugi scolds Nagi for prioritizing his video games over practice. Ryo quickly chimes in, reminding him that Nagi is a prodigy who doesn't practice. He treats him like a pair of trousers since his life before meeting him was hell. Ryo is a rich kid on trust fund money. His parents always promised him the world since there is nothing they can't buy. However, their hypocrisies show when Ryo comes home with a dream to win the World Cup. His parents told him he had a better chance of finding the blue spider lily than winning the cup. This daily hellish life of his continued until he bumped into Nagi, the potential greatest football genius he had ever encountered. A man with such control that he could catch a falling cell phone on his foot. Unlike Ryo, he wanted to live his life without working hard. Still, Ryo convinced him to play football with him. Meanwhile, in Team Z's bedroom, Kwon doesn't want to help them in the match since his spot in the second selections is assured. Ego comes on screen to clear doubts about the qualification requirements and crush their spirits. Team Z has been winning due to coincidence, as none can recreate their goals. They need to find a formula of scoring a goal that can be replicated with precision. Isagi is frustrated and heads straight to the practice field. He sees Barou from Team X, who had already scored 10 goals. As the top scorer in the entire building, he had already qualified. Isagi seeks Barou's guidance, but his kingly attitude is on another level. After failing to defend twice, Isagi challenges him once again. He realizes that his eye can analyze a person's gift, but Barou proves his inexperience by scoring a 27-meter screamer. Despite thinking, Isagi can't create his formula for scoring goals consistently. He decides to figure things out during gameplay. Isagi thanks Barou for helping him, even though all Barou did was humiliate him. In the room trembling with fear, Isagi sees that some of them are unable to sleep. He relaxes everyone's mind by reminding them of their purpose in Blue Lock. Before the match, Lemon lays out the game plan, explaining they should launch a short counterattack with forwards and midfielders. This way their defense won't suffer. Bachira tells Isagi that their time together will end if they lose, which will make him sad. So instead, they should win the match and reach the second selection. The next day, Team Z's perfect strategy marks Team V's 3 aces. They take possession of the ball and launch a counterattack with Bachira making a super long pass to Jin. The force on the ball makes it difficult for Jin to reach, but he utilizes his agility to land a header on the post. Team Z's morale gets a boost as they realize their strategy is working. Ryo notices that the match is about to get interesting. He tells Nagi to copy their strategy, launching a counterattack. He long passes the ball to Nagi, but his exceptional control allows him to stop the ball in the air. Afterwards, he takes the shot and scores a goal in the first few minutes of the match. Isagi immediately analyzes Nagi's combination of techniques. He knows that one mistake in controlling the ball would have made Team V lose possession. They knew this match would be difficult, but facing such a monster was more than he expected. Nonetheless, NPC number 300, whose name is just a waste of watch time, tells everyone it's just one goal. Team Z kicks off again with Kunigami taking the lead. However, Ryo doesn't allow him to reach his scoring range, as he knows everything about the meathead. After losing the ball, Ryo passes it on to Nagi once again. This time around, he utilizes a flick to make a bicycle kick from afar, giving the advantage of 2-0. The ball finds its way towards Chigiri, who wants to take them by surprise using his speed, his secret weapon. But unexpectedly, Tsurugi is as fast as Chigiri, catching up to him and stealing the possession. With possession back with Team V, Ryo decides to pass it to Nagi. Isagi tells everyone to defend on the wing, leaving Tsurugi's side open for business. After receiving the ball from Ryo, he takes the shot in the top left corner and scores, putting them 3-0. While everyone loses the hope to win, Kwon enjoys the match from the sidelines. Isagi knows that putting up a fight is also useless. However, Bachira is having the time of his life. He looks at him with creepy eyes and reminds Isagi about the thrill of playing such a match. Bachira knows that Team V's goals were super special, meaning they have to score super special goals. The monster inside him is telling Bachira to avoid being frightened in a desperate situation, since that is when things get exciting. He unleashes the beast inside and dribbles past Ryo by combining ultra-fast step-overs and a side roulette. Tsurugi tries to stop his movements with his speed, but Bachira lobs the ball in the air and feints into the left, allowing him to pass through. This boy goes Messi mode, overtaking 3 defenders, inspiring his teammates to polish their weapons and push past their limits. Bachira ends things with a simple heel chip, leaving their goalkeeper in the dust. 65 minutes left on the clock. Team Z gains a sense of camaraderie and the will to continue fighting. Team V kicks things off again in their usual way. Reishi blocks Ryo's path like a train wreck, forcing them to use Tsurugi. Chigiri is pissed off at his speed and decides to slide tackle, but comes up a little short. Nagi gains possession of the ball again and shoots from outside the penalty zone. Coincidentally, the NPC utilizes his head literally to stop the shot. Bachira passes the ball to Kunigami, who shoots a no-spin shot from 30-meter range that leaves the goalkeeper standing in one place. In the second half, Jin surprises everyone with a scorpion kick to the top left corner of the goal. However, Tsurugi comes back on the defense to deflect the ball. Isagi gets in revenge for the goal, but his overthinking habits force him to retreat. On the other hand, Anri is surprised to see that the match is going exactly as Ego predicted. He thinks a striker can evolve in the toughest of situations like a Super Saiyan. On the field, Ryo gets tired of his official stalker mocking him and gives him an elbow to the neck. The free kick allows Chigiri to take the ball and rush towards the goal. Chigiri realizes that Tsurugi's installed thrust is faster than his, making him shoot the ball ahead and catches up to it like before. This allows him to score a super goal, tying the score 3-3. At this point, Kwon is thinking about what the fudge is going on with Team Z. He yells at Ryo, telling them to feel ashamed for a lousy performance. He counters his remark by calling him a backstabbing son of a beach. He glances at the field, realizing that Isagi's strategy has quarantined them. Nagi notices the despair on his face and takes the initiative for the first time. He takes the ball from Ryo, shocking everyone on the field with his dribbling skills. Nagi has never done this before, making it easier for them to defend, but now that he's in the game, it's impossible. Tsurugi takes a pass from him to long pass it back from the wing. He looks up to see Nagi asking for the ball in the penalty area. Tsurugi is surprised because Nagi usually never takes the initiative or even asks for the ball, but he passes it to him. The ball floats in, and Nagi receives it at a very tight angle. Surely, he wouldn't be able to score from there. Nagi not only controls the ball with grace, but also manages to score an absolutely fantastic goal. The game turns on its head once again as Team V takes the lead, 4-3. Isagi realizes that the game helped them awaken, but it had the same effect on Team V, allowing them to take the lead. He knows that their performance lit a fire under him, fulfilling Ego's prediction about Blue Lock. Before kickoff, Kunigami suggests they should focus heavily on defense and stop Nagi from gaining foot. Reishi loses his shit after hearing a bunch of pussies talking. He reminds that defending is his worst nightmare, but his tasks have been completed without fail, so they should do the job of strikers and attack. Bachira kicks things off and passes the ball to Chigiri for sprinting. He utilizes the same technique to outpace Tsurugi, but Nagi predicts his move. Unexpectedly, Isagi blocks his path, allowing Chigiri to continue his run. He foresaw that Chigiri would be weakest when he shoots the ball ahead. Ryo tells his defenders to block his path. However, he finds a gap big enough to make the shot. Unfortunately, the goalkeeper diverts the ball to the pole, but Isagi knows the left wing is open for Jin to take the shot. Ryo intercepts the shot, leading the ball into Kunigami's territory. Without any hesitation, he takes the mid-range shot with no spin and scores an incredible goal, which makes Kwon question his judgment. Isagi realizes that his brain can play simulations of the field, allowing him to predict the future and create his own goals. Years in the past, Kwon created a soccer club in his school to win the nationals. His team worked up the ranks to the regional quarterfinals but lost. Kwon was frustrated to death, but his teammates were chill. They wanted to attend karaoke or clap some chicks since reaching the nationals wasn't their dream. From that day onward, he promised to stand on the winning podium by any means necessary. Although he can't believe both teams are fighting neck and neck. The game comes down to whoever can score the next goal. Nagi receives a long pass from Chigiri right after the kickoff. Isagi knows that stopping him at the corner is key to saving their dreams. Isagi tries to make time until his other defenders arrive. However, same as Ronaldo, Nagi shocks him by flicking the ball with his back and moving past him, and with no defenders around, he has a clear path to the goal. Everyone realizes that their dreams have ended, but just then, Kwon takes action and pushes him to the ground. He gives Team Z a chance to win in exchange for a red card. He doesn't know why he did it, but as he leaves, he tells the team to win. Ryo takes the free kick for Team V, however the goalkeeper is prepared for it and understands this is Blue Lock. Ryo would most definitely try to score the goal himself. In that moment, Ryo shoots directly at the goal. Lemon knew about the striker's ego and predicted his shot, allowing him to make an amazing save. Tsurugi knew this was going to happen. He He takes the loose ball and shoots it towards the goal, but it's blocked by a defender. Despite Team Z's effort, the loose ball reaches Nagi, who dribbles past several defenders and chips it towards the goal. Isagi holds his breath, hoping for a miracle, which comes in the form of Jin making a lunging dive to direct the ball to Isagi's feet. The counterattack is on. With his eyes and foresight, Isagi can smell a goal from the trip running beside him. He must keep possession of the ball, otherwise their loss will be set in stone. Isagi passes to Bachira for him to utilize his dribbling to break their formation. Just as the defenders close in, he passes back to Isagi. After making his move to the midfield, he passes the ball to Chigiri to use him as a decoy. As he envisioned, the defenders focus on him, allowing Isagi to break through. He then passes the ball to Kunigami to take the shot, but Tsurugi slide tackle ruins their plans. The ball is now heading out of bounds, and with only seconds left in the game, if it goes out of bounds, the game will be over. However, Reishi saves the day and passes it to Bachira. At that moment, Isagi foresees what would happen on the field and predicts that the left area would be perfect for the goal. He knows that Bachira can feel it inside him as well. They communicate with their eyes, making him pass the ball to Isagi. But things take an unexpected turn when Nagi sneaks behind him, causing his chances to score go down to 0. Isagi knows that Nagi can counter whatever movement he makes. Still, his determination to win keeps him going. He remembers his past goals and realizes that the piece missing was his ability to make a direct shot. Using this ability, Isagi slams the ball into the right corner of the net to win the match 5-4. Naturally, everyone celebrates the victory as the final whistle blows. They've qualified for the next round of Blue Lock. Team V is in shock as they've just lost to the weakest team in the entire building. In the other side, Quan stays on the sidelines, feeling ashamed. Kunigami invites him outside, reminding him he's part of their team. However, Reishi strikes him in the face before forgiving him, just to make the douchebag realize his mistake. Later in the dorms, Isagi shares his achievement with Bachira, telling him that he's getting in the zone. Just then, they see a large group of players leaving Blue Lock. They all sound sad and defeated, as their dreams of becoming national team players have been shattered. Isagi and Bachira pause for a moment to reflect on how their aspirations have crushed the dreams of many others. However, instead of feeling sad, this realization motivates them even more. Nico shows up on the scene out of nowhere to tell him about his ability to take shots rather than pass all the time. He says that in their next match, the results would be different. Unexpectedly, Isagi begins acting like a true striker and tells him to bring it on. Moments after, Ego comes on screen, telling them to go rigorous training. He reveals that the players in the other building were exempt from the first selection, so Team Z must wait until their virtual training program is over. For the next 15 days, Team Z undergoes brutal fetish torture to increase their overall stamina. Afterward, it is then announced that the first selection is over, and the players are instructed to head into a new facility only to find other teams with the same letter and ranking. Ego appears on the screen and remarks that, as they've undoubtedly noticed, only Building 5 is present in Blue Lock. This explains the absence of players from Buildings 1 through 4. Up until now, he wanted to destroy their fake egos and replace them with a burning desire to defeat the best. He explains to them that the second selection consists of 5 different trials in which only the true egoist will survive. Furthermore, those who pass the second selection will participate in a training camp where the best are coming to mentor them. However, unlike the last test, they will not be working in teams of 11. In this test, their individual talent matters most, meaning the trash will be cleared out in an instant. Team Z huddles up one last time, wishing each other luck and promising to meet on the other side. Suddenly, Rin Aitoshi comes forward and shoots a curvy ball and then hits it with another, leaving Isagi stunned by his skills. After completing his warm-up, he tells the system to open the gate to the test. Isagi follows suit. He walks down a narrow tunnel and finds himself in a field facing off against the blue Gigachad goalkeeper. He receives a ball from the wall beside him. A red circle appears and starts closing around him, prompting him to shoot from within it. He takes the perfect shot, but the goalkeeper saves it, making him realize its strength. After trying several times, he finally scores his first goal, but as soon as the ball hit the net, a timer appears in which he needs to score 100 goals within 90 minutes. He analyzes the speed and trajectory of the ball to score direct shots. Soon the difficulty level of the first stage reaches level 2 after scoring 30 goals, forcing him to deal with hologram defenders. Meanwhile, Henri gives a tutorial on how the system works, but aside from her curvy body, nothing is interesting. She tells him they are out of money, but Ego doesn't care since she earned it from OnlyFans. He designed this system for a player to polish his weapon. Meanwhile, the fakers who made it this far due to their team will vanish into thin air. After scoring 60 goals, the difficulty level of the trial goes to the maximum level, with randomly moving defenders and high-speed balls with spin. Initially, Isagi fails to score a single goal under these conditions. He analyzes the field to its last inch but still misses the shot. With a brief thought, he realizes that controlling his shot power and point of contact is key to victory. Isagi starts to discover his hidden talents that he never thought existed. Overwhelmed by his own power, Isagi clears the first stage, scoring 100 goals. He moves forward to the second stage, where a bunch of competitors who have passed the challenge just like him are already gathered. The players are asked to form teams of 3. Isagi sees Nagi and Ryo waiting for Tsurugi, but seconds later, Bachira enters the room and teams up with Isagi, which makes them happy. As for their third member, Isagi proposes that they'll choose whoever between Kunigami and Chigiri comes first. Unexpectedly, Nagi approaches Isagi, inviting him to join his team. Ryo objects to his decision, but his words are worthless. Nagi claims that Isagi was the most dangerous man on the field in their match. However, Isagi refuses to let his friend behind and join him. At that moment, Nagi proposes to join their team. Wires inside Ryo's head start to short-circuit upon hearing these words, as he wants them to stay together. But Nagi is more worried about losing to Team Z. He wants to join them, and there is no debate. Isagi thinks it over and realizes that Nagi's is a killer striker who could make their team invincible. The 3 of them move forward, forging a bond of confidence, knowing they are the strongest team. They enter the third stage only to find Rin teamed up with 2 monsters. They are the 3 top players in all of Blue Lock, according to their new ranking, appear to be the best of the bunch and are confident they can win against anyone. Meanwhile, Kunigami clears the first stage and finds Chigiri. He tells him that Isagi, Bachira, and Nagi have formed a team. They are pissed off that they didn't wait for them to arrive. At that moment, the 2 of them form a team. Ego explains that the third stage consists of 3-on-3 battles in which a Blue Lock member serves as the goalkeeper. Whichever team scores 5 goals first wins. The victorious team then steals a player from the losing team to form a 4-man squad. The fourth stage is a 4-on-4 match, where the winning team once again steals a member to create a 5-man squad. The newly formed 5-man team then clears the 5th stage and passes the second selection. The losing 3-man team becomes a 2-man squad and competes against another 2-man team. The player who is not chosen from the losing 2-man squad will be disqualified. They can choose to battle anyone as long as both parties have consent. He then updates everyone's real ranking, causing Isagi to jump to the 15th position. Bachira is only 1 ranking behind him, while Nagi is at number 7. Rin is the number 1 player in Blue Lock, and he's teamed up with number 2 and number 3. They decide to fight numbers 4, 5, and 6 to make things interesting. Isagi asks whether they should wait for other teams or challenge the one in front. On the other hand, Takamitsu, the number 3 nutcase player in Blue Lock, has a brain cell problem. Aryu is calm and collected, but Rin can't wait to destroy his older brother after entering the national team. Instead of waiting for another team, Isagi challenges Rin to a match. They want to test their skills against the best. The field and the goal size have been adjusted according to the players. The game ends when the first team scores 5 goals. Both teams will receive a blue lock holographic keeper from the previous round to help them concentrate on scoring goals. Isagi's team is assigned as the white team, while Rin's team is designated as the red team. After kickoff, Bachira demonstrates his new dribbling skill to move past Takemitsu. He passes the ball to Nagi, but his intuition makes it pass back to Isagi with a light touch. Using his newfound skills, Isagi calculates his shot power and point of contact to score a perfect goal. The three of them celebrate the goal and start chatting about their skills. Suddenly, Rin calls Isagi's team naive. He realizes that Isagi is just a kid who thinks of soccer as a sport. In reality, it is a battlefield in which they put their backs on an opponent with a loaded rifle. As the match resumes, Rin shoots from the kickoff position and scores, leaving everyone speechless. Nagi wonders if his move was even legal. Bachira tells him his shot was legal, but players don't usually play those types of shots. After recollecting themselves from shock, Isagi reminds Rin that their dreams are on the line. However, Rin tells him losing a game of soccer means losing his existence, and thus Bachira calls the weirdo alert. To him, soccer is not a sport, it's a fight to the death. The game continues. Isagi's team finds themselves at a disadvantage against Aryu's lengthy limbs as Bachira tries to pass the ball to Nagi and he outjumps Nagi. He snatches the ball right in front of him, and it makes its way to Takemitsu, who, lacking confidence, eventually passes it back to Aryu, but Bachira intercepts the ball and passes it to Isagi. Isagi and Aryu are locked in a battle for the ball, with Isagi shielding the ball with complete focus, but Aryu's long limbs give him the advantage. He kicks the ball right out in front of him, scoring a potent goal with his long legs. Team White starts again from the center, and this time Bachira has the ball. He realizes that his teammates are marked and his only chance is breaking through their formation alone. He slips past whack job number 3. Despite his high ranking, he doesn't seem to be a skilled player and has low confidence. Bachira is confident in his abilities to outplay him. However, he suddenly increases his speed and catches up to him. Takemitsu steals the ball and runs towards the goal like a bullet train. Isagi is willing to give a foul, but his weak hands aren't enough to control him, costing them a goal. With their back in the corner, they gather to formulate a plan to tackle this challenge. Nagi suggests taking control of the midfield by creating a triangle. Isagi is supposed to take the pass from Bachira and score the goal. However, Rin runs in front of him and claims his eyes can see what he sees. Bachira notices the block and makes a ground pass to Nagi. He instinctively knows that Bachira wants him to use the spin on the ball. Nagi takes the shot in that moment and scores the goal. Now it's 3-2. The referee signals Rin to resume the game. He makes the same shot as before, but this time Isagi can sense the danger and stop the ball before it's too late. Unfortunately, Rin gets a corner from Isagi's header. He thinks their team's position is ideal to block a pass. However, he forgot that Rin isn't a team player, and he does the unexpected by making a direct vertical shot from the corner. A shot of that caliber astonishes everyone on the field. Now the score is 4-2. Still, Nagi and the others don't lose hope, as they intend to score 3 more goals. Isagi is blocked by Rin once again, and so he is forced to find an opening and make a goal. Surprisingly, Rin intercepts the passing, making him realize that he was controlling the field from the start. Isagi tries to stop him, but the only thing he can do is watch in despair as Rin shots the ball through the air in an elegant arc, sealing their defeat with a final score of 5-2. This means Rin's team can select one player from Isagi's group to join them. Rin doesn't mind who it is, but Aryu and Takemitsu vote to take Bachira away from their team for his amazing passing skills. Before leaving, he vows to play at full strength against, but Bachira tells Isagi that if he wants him back, he must come and get him by embracing the monster within himself. The teams who lose their member are sent to another floor where they can face other losers. Nagi suggests they should rest before playing the next match. However, Isagi isn't having any of it. He is pissed off about being a useless cherry boy on the field without his teammates. He knows that if they lose again the other side, they will pick Nagi over him. Matter of fact, he wouldn't have picked himself either. Immediately, Nagi grabs his hair and tells him to shut the broken vibes. He joined up with his team to become stronger, and not to be a shoulder to lean on. Isagi tries to fire shots at him, saying he can't take a shit without Ryo. But Nagi uses the same analogy with him, reminding him that Bachira's incredible passes got him this far. Isagi knows that he's right, which is why he's pissed off. At that moment, he proclaims to become stronger and hold his own without Bachira. Nagi claims this test is about testing their individual strength. Both realize they can't do anything without someone passing them the ball. Nagi's ball control and Isagi's direct shot are useless in this test. Seconds later, Barou arrived. They are shocked to see that the so-called king lost the match. Nagi begins provoking Barou and challenges him because he doesn't seem to be as strong as he once was. However, they can't play before a 24-hour interval. A few moments later, Isagi's former teammate Naruhaya arrives. He had joined forces with Barou and another player named Heizime, but their team lost the previous game despite Barou scoring 4 goals in a row and the other team scored 5. Later in their rooms, Nagi exhausts his thinking capacity and sleeps like a vampire. The next day, Isagi is hell-bent on finding his way to victory in a one-on-one. He practices his direct shot, improving them by the minute. But defeating someone single-handedly is still beyond his control. Soon, Naruhaya intervenes in his practice to give him a reality check. He reminds Isagi they will be left out if their team loses. Barou and he would want Nagi while they would take Barou. He empathizes with taking bolder risks if they intend to stay in Blue Lock, and thus they agree to a match. When the match begins, Barou shows them his new skills by making a shot from nearly 30 meters away. Isagi is puzzled about his next move since passing like Bachira is beyond him. However, Nagi tells him to pass the ball in whatever way possible. He realizes that making Barou chase him will create an opening. Nagi creates a new formula amid battle, using his advanced ball control to slip past him and level the score. Once more, Nagi tells him to drop the defense and chase Barou. Isagi manages to successfully steal the ball and realizes that Nagi can use his advanced ball control to put life into the ball or drain its energy. He gives him a through pass from which Nagi easily scores and takes the lead. Pissed off, Barou shoots from the kickoff position like Rin, but misses by an inch. Naruhaya gains hold of the ball before Isagi and pass it to his teammate, allowing Barou to level the score again, leveling the score 2-2. As Isagi takes control of the ball and advances into an attacking position, Naruhaya tells him the real reason they picked him is because defeating him is easy. Isagi attempts to pass the ball, but Naruhaya intercepts it, and Barou takes possession, passing it back to him. As Naruhaya receives a pass from Barou, he rushes towards the goal, making Isagi realize that he's shit. Naruhaya makes the shot to the goal, but he lacks skills and the shot is saved by the keeper. Now that the ball is loose, they try to recover it, but Barou charges in with his brute strength, snatches the ball, and scores as predicted. The score is now 3-2. Instead of fretting about his shortcomings, Isagi realizes this match is the perfect catalyst to create a weapon for one-on-one situations, otherwise his Blue Lock journey ends. Isagi makes a series of unpredictable passes and movements to create an opening for Nagi. However, his hunger to score himself is still unfed. He can't find the piece needed to counter them one-on-one, realizing that his foundation needs to be reconstructed. Nagi receives the ball, and he scores once again, putting the score 3-3. Despite this positive outcome, Isagi feels frustrated and believes that the only way to improve is to dismantle everything he knows. Barou takes the shot from the kickoff position, but Nagi makes a unique block. Isagi goes for the second ball, but Naruhaya beats him to it. For a moment, he intends on shooting himself, but Naruhaya freezes and then passes the ball to Barou to take the goal. With their score of 4-3, Isagi and Nagi realize there is no room for error. Isagi continuously replays the moment when Naruhaya took the ball from him. It dawns on him that Naruhaya has been positioning himself in his blind spot. His movements off the ball allow him to gain the upper hand against him. During the gameplay, Isagi puts these new ideas inside his head and reconstructs his foundation. Isagi with the ball in control, he passes it to Nagi, who ties the game 4-4. However, Isagi tells the genius to shut it since he's getting to the good part. Meanwhile, Naruhaya remembers how his sister took care of siblings after their parents' death. One of his brothers wants to catch a crypto pump and become rich, while he wants to become a pro football player, allowing her sister to rest. Before coming to Blue Lock, she gave a good luck charm which he carries in his pocket. Nagi stands near the right post ready for Barou's insane kickoff shot. Naruhaya advises him to get closer, but the kings don't listen to orders. He strikes the ball with lots of left spin, making the ball turn, but it hits the other post. As the ball bounces back, they compete to get it first, but Naruhaya intends to copy Isagi's direct shot weapon, but a copy will remain second class. Unfortunately, he hits the post and Naruhaya is devastated. Nagi seizes possession of the ball, and they initiate their counterattack. Upon seeing this, Isagi realizes that devouring Naruhaya's footwork and making it his own is the way to defeat the king. He takes on Barou by himself with a slight feint to the left, making him shift his weight. This allows Isagi to slip past him from the other side. The monsters inside them, otherwise known as chemical reactions, communicate his plan with Nagi, making him pass the ball. It enters Isagi's territory. He maneuvers into Barou's blind spot and receives a pass from Nagi, allowing him to score a final goal. Overrun by despair, Naruhaya claims his previous judgment about Isagi was wrong. His genius is his ability to adapt to any situation. Nagi then asks who Isagi wishes to take along. Naruhaya silently hopes Isagi won't choose him, but Isagi chose Barou. Pitying him, he tells Barou his soccer journey isn't over. On the other hand, Naruhaya says his goodbyes, admitting that he isn't prepared for the next stage. In the other room, Kunigami and Chigiri's search for a partner leads them to Ryo, who's feeling sorry for himself. They convince him to join them in taking revenge against Nagi and Isagi for leaving them behind. With an additional member, their dorm gets more lively with Nagi and Barou fighting like Batman vs Superman. They've been given a new single bed, and everyone is competing for it. Interestingly, despite Barou's ego, he's pretty serious about his hygiene, almost like a maid, making him clean the entire room. Isagi invites him to train together to better understand Barou and form a strong partnership. Later, on the training grounds, Isagi and Nagi are forced to train alone while Barou is busy with his daily routine. They find out that Barou has an intense hour-long workout regimen before he even touches the ball. This straightforward routine is what gives him his strength and focus. Some would find it annoying, but Isagi understands the secret behind Barou's monstrous strength is self-discipline. He joined the rigorous workout since waiting for him was boring. Nagi also joins the training, as standing around is pointless unless you are Joe Biden. Outside, Anri briefs the money-grubbing old fudges about the purpose of the second selection, yet their singular brain cell can't comprehend the concept. They want Ego to pump out a child prodigy like it's raining. He asks about their definition of a genius before showing them their wrong methods. After getting insulted, the old man tells Ego that everyone is waiting for the results. After returning from training, Isagi and Nagi find Barou sleeping on the bed they had all been competing for. Even though Nagi wants to kick him off, Isagi tells him that meticulous Barou deserves to rest after tidying the room. They call it a night, with Isagi unfortunately ending up on the bottom bunk. In the training grounds, Chigiri, Kunigami, and Ryo relentlessly perfect their teamwork. They want to challenge Isagi's team as soon as possible. Ryo wants to make Nagi realize that his decision was fudged. At the same time, Isagi desires to devour the king and evolve his soccer skills. He sits down with him to discuss strategy for future matches. But his stubborn but majesty tells him to pass the ball every time. They get into an argument. However, Isagi realizes that working with Barou is nearly impossible. Later in the bath, Isagi encounters Kunigami, who is shocked to see him in the third selection. On that note, he narrates the entire story up to that point, revealing everything about Bachira and their loss against Rin. He then took Barou, leaving Naruhaya condemned. Chigiri is upset that Isagi didn't wait for them, and the two of them taunt him about it before admitting that if Nagi had approached them, they would have done the same. Nagi relaxes in the bath, and King comes to scold him once again. After both teams gather in the bath, Ryo challenges Isagi to a match, which is accepted by him without hesitation. 24 hours before the match, Barou and Nagi bicker about their strategy, telling Isagi that he needs to babysit them. They wonder which player to pick after winning the match. Isagi thinks the lightning bolt Chigiri will help defeat Rin. However, Barou thinks that Kunigami would be suitable for ball retention. Naturally, Nagi wants to pick Ryo, as he feels guilty for leaving him behind. At the end, they decide to leave this discussion after winning the match. On the other hand, Kunigami crafts the perfect strategy to counter Isagi's team. Ryo asks to take on Isagi, claiming his career will be finished. Kunigami will take on Barou and Chigiri will hold off Nagi. The long-awaited moment has finally arrived. Kunigami's Team Red versus Isagi's Team White, a clash of monsters. When their match begins, Isagi feels calm, but the game doesn't proceed as smoothly as expected. Barou takes the ball upfield. However, Kunigami is successfully keeping Barou out of his shooting zone. Suddenly, Ryo quickly dashes past Isagi and helps Kunigami with the defense, shutting Barou down with a simple movement. They steal the ball from him and launch a counterattack. With Isagi alone in defense, Ryo and Kunigami come together in the midfield, overwhelming him. They pass the ball to Chigiri, who is at full speed. Even though Nagi is close behind, the red lighting bolt accelerates at full velocity, leaving Nagi in shock. Chigiri, way ahead of everyone, scores the first goal. However, this goal only serves as fuel for Nagi and Isagi, who are entering their zone. Isagi realizes that their tri-fusion brings out the full potential of everyone's weapon. However, he is itching to test out his new off-the-ball movement and blind spot skill. His eyes can see the field more clearly, predicting multiple routes to the goal. Isagi passes to Barou and uses Ryo's blind spot to slip past him and create an opening. Unfortunately, Barou ignores his positioning and rushes forward to score. Kunigami takes advantage of his selfishness to steal the ball, allowing him to counter with his mid-range, no-spin shot, and thus extending their lead 2-0. Nagi loses his cool after this goal. He tells the king to stop acting like a newborn and pass the ball. Despite their careers on the line, Barou refuses to pass. Isagi stops their fight by agreeing to become the passer. He realizes that a new field analysis must be done by considering Barou's abilities. He glances at his form, learning that every route leads him to failure. On the other hand, Nagi can score with an infinite number of possibilities. He passes the ball to Nagi with Chigiri on his back. Unbeknownst to him, his elegant ball control skills make Chigiri over the committee to the tackle, allowing him to get past him, and scores a magnificent goal for the team. Leaving Kunigami's team astonished by the genius's abilities, Nagi is convinced that they can secure the victory with just the two of them. This play surpasses any vision Isagi foresaw with his skills, jumping the chemical reaction to another level. Isagi knows establishing a chemical reaction with Barou will be the key to winning. He asks him to pass the ball once in a while and let them score. However, Barou refuses to accept his proposal. He would rather lose the game than win with goals scored by other strikers. Isagi loses his cool, knowing his stubborn attitude is ruining his unawakened potential. But Barou goes crazy and tells him to back down. He doesn't want to follow anyone's orders and change his soccer. Nagi advises him to stop hanging up on Barou, as expecting him to compare is like waiting for a female Santa Claus to take your cherry. The game begins with them down 2-1. Isagi notices that his opponents use Ryo's all-rounder talent and tactics to control Chigiri and Kunigami perfectly. He switches between them according to the situation, allowing them to break their defensive formation. Ryo passes to Chigiri, and with a quick pass to the center, Kunigami gains possession of the ball at the sweet spot. He uses his head to score, increasing their lead by 2 goals. Isagi decides to quit trying to cooperate with Barou. Instead, he realizes that devouring him is their only option to win. With a determined look, he tells Nagi they will win by themselves. After kickoff, Isagi shocks everyone by moving to Barou's side. Barou thinks Isagi made the smartest choice, but everyone thought he was going to pass the ball to Barou. But things take a turn when he passes the ball to Nagi from Barou's back. Chigiri recognizes Nagi's exceptional ball control and intends to steal the ball, but Ryo warns him about overcommitting. This allows Chigiri and Ryo to link up and stop his movements. Nagi realizes that everyone's attention is directed towards him. Suddenly, Barou charges forward, calling for a pass, but he's still closely marked. However, everyone's attention is focused on Nagi and Barou, making them forget about Isagi, who takes advantage of their blind spots to sneak out of the shadows. Barou was merely a decoy. Nagi quickly passes the ball to him, allowing him to capitalize on the confusion he caused to score a goal, bringing the score to 3-2. This marks the start of a comeback. On that note, Isagi tells Barou to keep playing his lame soccer and stay out of their way, calling him a donkey. The rivalry between Isagi and Ryo reignites, but the shift in Isagi's demeanor makes Ryo hesitant to confront him directly. Instead, he chooses to pass the ball to Chigiri, who then passes it to Kunigami. Seeing an opportunity to get involved in the game, Barou decides to steal the ball by himself since his teammates won't pass and engages in a physical battle with Kunigami. He successfully gains control of the ball. However, Kunigami didn't let him keep possession for long and manages to steal the ball. But when the ball was in the field, suddenly, Isagi appears out of nowhere to take the second ball. Chigiri tries to take possession with a slide tackle, but Isagi makes a chip pass to his little genius Nagi, who scores like it is child's play. Now the score is 3-3. Everyone realizes that the two are dominating the field. The game continues and Ryo passes to Chigiri, who takes the initiative to evolve his technique by continuously sprinting to maintain his top speed. Barou attempted to tackle him to steal the ball, but despite going at top speed, Chigiri manages to evade Barou's tackle and score one of the best goals of the game. The score is 4-3. This excites Isagi even more, as strikers who grovel won't become the best. Back in his childhood days, Barou became the lead character on the field, with everyone supporting him from the side. Over the years, he developed the habit of crushing the other leads and eclipsing their spotlight in the present. Nagi and Isagi discuss their strategies to level the score. Unexpectedly, Barou takes a direct shot to win back his pride. As usual, the ball hits the pole and becomes loose. Nagi quickly gets behind Kunigami, forcing him to pass to Ryo. Isagi utilizes his off-the-ball movements to intercept, but Ryo slide tackles the ball near Barou. Now, with the ball under his control, Barou is focused to redeem himself by scoring the next goal. He intends to take the shoot with only a few meters left to reach his shooting range. But Chigiri starts chasing him with his speed, making it impossible to reach the necessary distance in time. At that moment, Isagi shows up ahead of him, wide open. He glances back at Barou, and with his stare, he hears Isagi's inner voice, making him pass the ball and shocking everyone. Isagi comfortably makes the volley and ties the score 4-4. Isagi compliments the donkey on his pass and reminds him to stay clear of their path. Barou is in disbelief at how swiftly Isagi shattered his entire ideology. He's struggling to comprehend the despair he's feeling, the bitter taste of defeat. He realizes the pass wasn't even his own decision. He lost to someone he had underestimated, leading his entire belief system to collapse. Kunigami's team is fully aware of Isagi's unstoppable performance, and they focus on preventing him from getting the ball. Ryo claims that losing possession of the ball again will cause them the match. On the other side, Isagi crafts the perfect plan to victory, telling Nagi they can finish it without Barou. The match kick off with Ryo intending to use Chigiri's speed. However, Nagi focuses his marks on him tightly, while Isagi closes his routes to a pass. At that moment, Ryo's determination to win skyrockets, allowing him to find a path to Chigiri. Chigiri rushes towards the ball, but Nagi goes the other way to intercept the pass. Ryo can't believe they took a gamble as big as this during the last minutes of the game. Isagi had meticulously planned every move, and it unfolded exactly as he intended. Nagi barely gets a touch on the ball, but it's enough to divert it from reaching Chigiri, leaving the loose ball perfectly set up for Barou. Barou freezes. He knows that passing it to Isagi or Nagi would mean their victory. He accepts his defeat, realizing they shine brightly for him. However, he realizes that excuses like these are an escape for losers. At that moment, he gets reborn as Isagi's shadow, slipping past everyone with feints and acute dribbling. He uses Isagi as a decoy to make a fool of Ryo and Chigiri. By devouring each other's style consecutively, Isagi creates a chemical reaction with Barou that leads him to score the final goal to victory. The new king is reborn. The first thing he does after is make Isagi take back his insults. Seconds later, Nagi comes in with a victory tackle, asking why Barou kept his abilities a secret. Unexpectedly, Barou reveals that his determination to play the lead made him come up with that style on a whim. He tells Isagi that his dream to become the best striker means losing to him is not an option. Meanwhile, Anri claims Barou's evolution was Ego's plan. However, he says that was his decision alone. Most side characters make excuses after losing like, "I did my best," and so on. But the winners have a completely different attitude. On the field, Isagi and the others now have to decide which player to steal from the other team. Barou claims that Kunigami's incredible physique and ability to hold the ball will allow him to score more goals. However, Nagi believes Ryo will be the perfect addition to their team. His all-rounder style will allow them to make plays that weren't possible before. Isagi agrees with both their arguments but refuses to consider their choices, as it would be suicidal for their team. He reminds them the second selection focuses on creating chemical reactions based on individual strength. Adding Ryo or Kunigami will balance their team, but it will kill their potential, and to defeat Rin and win back Bachira, they need to choose wisely. He wants to take Chigiri since he can devour all of them. Furthermore, he was the only one who could keep up with their movements. Isagi asks him to join them, as his legs will shoot them to victory. As he crosses the field to join his new team, Chigiri vows to wait for Kunigami so they can take their revenge on Isagi. Nagi compliments Ryo on his passing skills. They knew Ryo would find a way to make a pass, allowing them to win. Despite the compliments, Ryo feels pity coming from Nagi. He tells him to shut it or choose him instead of Chigiri. At that moment, Nagi asks what would happen if Isagi picked him. He believes Ryo forgot the promise made to each other to become the best striker in the world. Initially startled by Ryo's words, Nagi eventually agrees that they can't grow together. He acknowledges their promise, but also feels that Ryo has become a burden, and he's no longer concerned. Nagi decides he's done with Ryo. Before entering the winning gate, Isagi tells Ryo to become the chosen, rather than wishing to be chosen. Years ago, Bachira told his mother about the monster, talking to him. Instead of calling him a weirdo, she told him there would be one day a person with a similar monster will become his friend. He begins to see that monster in Rin, who defeats him with ease. On the other hand, the King of Maids scolds Nagi and Chigiri for slacking off. Isagi takes him out to eat and calms the situation. There, Isagi suspects that Barou is still upset with him over the donkey comment made during the match, but Barou asks about his way of playing soccer. However, Isagi doesn't understand the question and explains that his strengths are spatial awareness and direct shots. They start to forge a frenemy-type bond with a twist of rivalry. On the other hand, Nagi discovers the talent of Null Noah, the best striker in the world. He wants to imitate his ball control to win more games. Chigiri thinks it's criminal that Nagi is so good at soccer without knowing its history. Meanwhile, Rin defeats Bachira again and realizes Bachira's style is half-baked. He is searching for an anchor to play with rather than having the ego of a striker. More than anything, Bachira loved soccer. He always had a soccer ball near his reach at all times. However, this meant that making friends was impossible. Despite this, his mother told him to listen to the voice inside him, as others don't. He took her advice to heart and played soccer with the monster assistants, but sometimes doubt overran his mind. What if there was no one with the same monster as him, he asked. Until he received an invitation to Blue Lock and found the monster he was longing for inside Yoichi Asagi. He tells Rin about the monster inside him, wondering if something like it happens with him. However, Rin claims his childish fantasies are holding him back. In the hallways, as the two exit the practice area, Asagi surprises them by challenging Rin to a match, declaring that he's there to steal Bachira back. Bachira eagerly anticipates which of these two monsters will impress him more. Face to face on the field, Aryu falls for Chigiri's silky smooth hair, turning the genre from sports to BL. As they exchange names, he tells Aryu his name from the late 1600s, which pisses him off. Barou isn't having the entire thing, and thus tells them to get into formation. The nutcase number 3 begs him for a rain check, but his request is refused. Barou asks to mark him since his pessimistic butt is annoying. Nagi also asks Isagi's permission to fight with Rin, otherwise there will be no fun. This means that he must face off against his best friend Bachira. After kickoff, Bachira tries to dribble the ball past Asagi, not realizing his ability as a striker has grown since the last time they played. Bachira takes a chance by going down Nagi's line of defense. However, Barou stops him in his tracks, making Bachira to pass. Immediately, the ball is stolen by Asagi as a kind of anti-combination. He quickly makes a long pass to Nagi. However, his pass isn't picture perfect due to Rin standing in front. Nagi knows that flicking or stopping the ball won't work, forcing him to side pass to Chigiri. He uses the top speed first touch to slip past Aryu and draw first blood, putting the score 1-0. Bachira resumes the game and moves upfield with his dribbling skills. Asagi and Barou are too close in, forcing him to make a no-look pass to Aryu. Chigiri is confident that intercepting won't be a problem. However, Aryu uses his long limbs to take the ball. He passes it to Takamitsu, who then lightly touches it to pass it on to Rin. Nagi rushes towards him to counter, but Rin fakes a shot to lure him in. This gives Asagi enough time to catch up. Asagi recognizes that Rin is a formidable opponent, capable of creating limitless variations of himself and possessing the skills to execute each one flawlessly. However, his tackles are far from stopping Rin, allowing him to score the goal. Chigiri didn't realize how good Rin was until now. Nagi can't even understand what happened in his last play. Asagi breaks things down step by step, revealing his incredible iOS system. This makes Nagi think that Asagi will be able to defeat Rin with a little push. Chigiri observes that Asagi is the only one who can keep up with Rin's thought process, making Asagi the key to stopping him. As the match resumes, Asagi uses Chigiri's speed to move upfield. At the same time, Nagi gets ready for the pass from him, diverting everyone's attention towards himself. Asagi utilizes this distraction to appear from everyone's blind spot to receive the pass from Chigiri. Unexpectedly, Rin intercepts the pass, forcing Asagi to realize that his field analysis is nothing in comparison to his ability. He throws the ball at Bachira's feet and asks him to take it to the goal. Bachira effortlessly dribbles past Asagi and makes a long pass to Aryu. Asagi thinks that Chigiri and Nagi will steal the ball from him. However, Aryu realizes Bachira gave him a curved ball, which requires him to intercept its trajectory. Following this plan, he scores without breaking a sweat. Upon seeing two titans fighting to control the field, Nagi feels the urge to evolve. He knows that these two titans can perceive the future of the field, but his determination to win destroys that future, forcing Asagi to adapt. he passes the ball to Chigiri. Nagi scans the field. However, Rin sees through this tactic, and Nagi recognizes that the two prodigies possess the same level of vision. Suddenly, Nagi rushes forward. This unexpected play makes Chigiri passes it to him, making everyone believe he'll take the shot, but he let it go through his legs, hoping that Isagi will swiftly analyze the field and revise their strategy. Isagi perfectly passes the ball to him, but Rin catches up with Nagi instantly. With that being the case, Nagi feints a shot in the air to throw Rin off balance and waits for the chance to score the tying goal. Nagi is confident that with Isagi, he can keep pushing his limits and grow even stronger. This impressive outplay finally sparks Rin's competitive spirit. Anri labels the goal as nothing less than a miracle, provoking Ego to bend her once again. He believes that calling goals that are precisely calculated a miracle is an insult. He tells Anri they need to reproduce more goals like this to win. On the field, Isagi realizes they must expand their parameters to an extent Rin can't sense. However, Rin is pissed off about Nagi's goal and going full throttle. First, he uses Takamitsu's crazy muscles to hold the ball in place for him to take the right position. After receiving the pass, Rin makes a long pass to Aryu, testing him to the limit. Chigiri quickly blocks his pass, forcing him to return the ball to Rin. Nagi tries to block his path. However, Rin employs roulette spin to slip past him. Isagi had predicted this outcome, allowing him to reach the ball in time. Unexpectedly, Rin tells him he's 2 moves behind him. On that note, he passes the ball to Bachira and takes the lead 3-2. He claims an NPC like Isagi can't comprehend his tactics, just to add salt on his wound. Isagi understands that Rin assesses their skills perfectly and uses them as puppets on the field for him to score. Nagi knows Isagi can see through his movements. They agree to break free from his vision while Barou watches them with deadly eyes. After the match resumes, Chigiri takes the ball from the wing and manages to leave Aryu behind. Rin senses him coming and blocks his path, forcing him to make a pass inward. While Nagi holds the ball, Isagi makes a clockwise turn around Bachira to gain the advantage. Unfortunately, Rin predicts his move and comes back for the defense. His seriousness forces Isagi to shield the ball, but his strength is weak. Suddenly, Barou steals from Isagi like a hungry lion waiting patiently for a moment to strike. Isagi realizes that Rin couldn't predict his movements since playing soccer like a villain is not in the handbooks. Barou comfortably scores the goal and ties the score once again. Isagi assesses the situation and understands that he must become someone Rin cannot control. The match resumes again with Rin passing the ball to Bachira to dribble through everyone. Chigiri presses tires to press him, but using feints Bachira escapes. Isagi had predicted his movements, allowing him to block his path. At the same time, Chigiri presses him and Barou takes the ball. He rushes towards the goal. However, Rin makes a last-ditch effort to side tackle him, knocking the ball out of play. Rin failed to anticipate the play, while Isagi capitalized on Barou's unpredictability, leading to a fierce competition. Bachira has finally found the two beasts who are reading each other like a book, trying to take control of the field. However, he feels as if they are ignoring him. Isagi's team loses possession of the ball, causing Rin to go on the offense. He utilizes Takamitsu's undying stamina to break through the midfield. With no choice left, Barou and Chigiri tackle him and received a yellow card, giving them a free kick. Isagi creates a wall with Chigiri, thinking about Rin's move. Before he can make a judgment, Rin plays a direct shot right above their head. They didn't have sufficient time to react and the ball lands in the back of the net. The score is now 4-3. Afterward, he calls Isagi a joke for not predicting his shot. The choice was obvious for him since it was him on the wall. Bachira recognizes that the two monsters are driven by their egos and begins to question his own purpose, whether he's playing to find a true monster or a friend. He now understands that these motivations won't be enough to keep pace. Barou claims that Rin wouldn't have been able to score if it were him on the wall. However, Isagi knows Rin wouldn't have gone for the direct shot. Suddenly, he realizes that Rin is making movements based on him. He decides to self-devour himself to find a way to fool the puppet master. The match resumes with Isagi using Barou as a decoy to deal with Takamitsu's abnormal strength level. Bachira intends on stopping his advance, but Isagi looks to pass the ball. Everyone thinks that he will pass it to Barou or Nagi. Unexpectedly, Isagi makes a long-through pass to Chigiri. Meanwhile, everyone's attention is on them, and Isagi falls behind everyone's blind spot to go near the post. Chigiri sees him coming and passes the ball before Aryu can get to it. Despite the perfect play, Rin predicted his movements and caught up to him. Isagi knows that his direct shot will be blocked by him. Unbeknownst to Rin, this is what Isagi wanted from the beginning. He lets the ball slide under his leg and shoots a direct back heel shot, scoring a goal not even Rin could predict. The score is 4-4. Everyone realizes that Isagi is the savior of football while he is satisfied by devouring Rin. Bachira is struggling, aware that he's not operating at Rin and Isagi's level, and he's uncertain about what steps to take to evolve. Before resuming the game, Rin tells his team to play like their life depends on it, and in exchange his abilities will win them the game. He outplays everyone by making a long pass to Aryu. His unusual physique allows him to jump high enough for the ball, but as it comes down, Nagi takes control. Unexpectedly, Aryu refuses to give up control of the ball by passing it to Bachira. However, his mind is still worried about catching up with Isagi and Rin. Chigiri steals the ball from him while he's dribbling and passes it along. Nagi tells him that Isagi doesn't need a player who loses his mind on the battlefield, making him worry even more. At the same time, Isagi and Barou's anti-combination of bases allows them to get past Rin's perception and Takamitsu's strength. Before walking up the goal, Isagi passes the ball onto Nagi to create the perfect position. When the ball comes back, he utilizes the small gap in the top right corner to take the shot. Unexpectedly, Rin intercepts the shot at the last moment, leading the ball to land in Bachira's feet. He runs towards the goal without a single shot, exciting the monster inside. But Bachira doesn't want him to come out, as he is not lonely anymore. Isagi notices that Bachira is getting aggressive by the minute, meaning his evolution has begun. He goes on a solo run, dribbling past everyone. Isagi realizes that Bachira is the trump card that will win the game for Rin. Simultaneously, Rin moves inside from the wing, taking the best position for the pass. However, Bachira refuses to listen to the monster inside and passes. He dribbles past 3 defenders to become the monster himself. He lifts the ball and kicks it with his heel, managing to get past Nagi. Bachira takes the shot, not knowing that Isagi would intercept his shot. He knows Bachira and saw his evolution unfolding and anticipated that Bachira would attempt to score on his own. He tells that to him on the face. Rin always placed himself in the best position on the field. But these 8 players couldn't expect that the ball would ruthlessly and mercilessly land in the feet of Rin Itoshi, and thus number 1 drives it into the net, wins the match. Frustrated, Isagi screams his loudest with tears in his eyes. Meanwhile, Aryu mentions they need to choose a player. Bachira wants his say in the matter to pick Isagi since he's the monster deserving of his instance. However, Rin shuts them up with crazy vibes, shocking everyone. In that last moment, he couldn't read the future of the field and was defeated by Isagi. This means that there is one more person ready to be defeated by him. He won't let Isagi fall in despair and extends an invitation to Isagi to join his team, as he is meant to have a front row seat to him becoming the best striker in the world. Before going with them, Isagi tries to compensate for the loss with a few words. But Chigiri, Barou, and Nagi realize they paid the price for being side-cast, while Isagi was the main lead, and they promise to defeat him next time. In that moment, they crumbled in tears. Despite this, their determination will allow them to crawl to the top without him. On that note, Isagi enters the winner's gate with his new team. Aryu, Takamitsu, and Bachira welcome their new member with open arms. But Isagi is still thinking how the game turned his way and they lost. Rin calmly tells him that a chimp could answer his question. He won the game with pure luck and nothing else. The four-eyed jerk Ego explains luck as standing under pigeons and being shit on, or betting on a lottery which doesn't have a winning number. He asks whether these things could be considered bad luck. He reveals 5 players on the field chose to watch Bachira's shot except Isagi and Rin. He blocked the shot while Rin placed himself for the perfect shot. His team is shocked to realize that Rin planned this far. However, he accepts the fact that his victory was dumb luck. This is punishment, and accepting it will make him grow as a player. Isagi also realizes that his level is nowhere near Rin's. Now, he must rebuild himself with luck factored in. Anyways, as their reward for reaching the passing this far, they will face off against the top 5 players in the world. Leonardo Luna from Real, a Spanish player, Adam Blake, the top scorer in the Premier League, world-class free kicker Pablo Cavazos, an Argentinian player, Dada Silva, a Brazilian national player, and Loki Julian, the French league's 17-year-old child prodigy. Eventually, Isagi joins Rin in his after-match yoga routine to learn about his relationship with his brother. He claims that his relationship will fix itself once SAE is defeated by him. As they talk, Isagi attempts to mimic Rin's absurd one-handed handstand. He fails and ends up knocking over Rin. Hours later, the team meets the top 5 legendary players in the world face to face. They treat this as a part-time job and nothing more. Aryu doesn't understand English, but roughly interprets that they are being insulted, which pisses off Rin enough to provoke them. Luna, the Spanish player, identifies him as C's brother. After kickoff, Bachira utilizes his dribbling skills against Cavazos to move upfield, allowing Isagi to use his off-the-ball movements, but Loki is all over him. Instead of passing the ball onto him, Bachira and Rin use Isagi as a decoy to score the first goal, telling the world class they are not pushovers. From that point onward, the best 5 get serious. Isagi confronts Loki, who pauses to point out Isagi's numerous weak spots before speeding past him, Bachira and Aryu effortlessly. Loki man-handling their team alone using his speed. Rin's foresight allows him to see Loki's path, but his speed surpasses him, tying the score. Everyone is left in awe, but Rin is determined to win the game against them. He resumes the game, varying Loki's speed. This allows Luna to sweep in and steal the ball. He passes the ball to Cavazos. He surprises them with a long, high pass before they can react effectively. Aryu thinks he can reach it, but Silva outjumps him and gets the touch. Takamitsu goes after the loose ball, but is effortlessly shoved aside by Blake. He then scores a goal. This shocks Isagi. One by one, they destroy each of their weapons from perception to physical abilities, leaving them useless. At this point, Isagi and the others realize that defeating them is a dream. But even with 4-1 down, I think they can win the game. However, Luna crushes his dream in an instant with a few stepovers. He remarks that if he opens his legs that easily, people might think he's a loose guy. Luna scores the final goal to end the game with a 5-1 victory, leaving him frustrated. After the game, they told Isagi's team they never really stood a chance to win, and then they depart to report back to Ego. On the other hand, the old money-sucking geezers yell at Ego for paying 100 million each to the 5 legendary plus 1 million for goal bonuses. He wanted to let them experience the world no matter how bitter it is. But the old geezers can't understand concepts about dreams and winning. The old geezer threatens to shut it down. Ego suggests holding a major match to clearly showcase the program's achievements, justifying its existence and ensuring its continuation. He agrees to show them results of blue lock on all of the players. Back in the dorms, Isagi understands the difference between Rin and him. He was content with his performance against the 5, but he got frustrated over his loss. Soon, the AI referee informs them that all remaining members have reached the 3rd selection. They must enter the joint room in the order which they passed. Naturally, Rin and the others enter first and watch the show. Isagi is glad to see Nagi, Barou and Chigiri enter the room with some new faces. They claim Isagi's presence wasn't needed from them to advance. Next up, one by one, all the teams enter the joint room with a lot of familiar faces from the first exam, including the NPC monk, which surprises everyone. However, Isagi and Nagi are waiting for Ryo and Kunigami to enter the room. As the last team enters, Ryo comes along, but instead of Kunigami, a kid named Urusei from the hood is with them. Ryo claims that Kunigami didn't have what it takes to be the best striker, but Isagi refuses to buy it. Urusei instantly picks a fight with Isagi, but luckily Chigiri intervenes before things get bloody. On that note, Ego comes on screen and tells them that they are going to play against Japan's national team, who has a new addition to their midfield. Rin is overwhelmed to get a chance to play against his brother, while the others are thrilled to get a chance to hijack Japan's national team. The fate of balls has just begun. Watch this video on screen and subscribe to not miss the upcoming second season, and leave a comment of your favorite goal. I want to see the arguments all you soccer fans craze. Also, is it soccer or football? Let me know.